And repeat the question a little bit if you can.
Okay, so another message I got about what it means and takes to be a real man is to find and pick a woman who's really strong, and that a strengths could be the way, her appearance, her intellectual capacity, her emotional range, all those things. So to find and to pick a woman who was strong was what a real man would do. But the rest of that was that you not only find them, but you tame them. You you find ways to ultimately gain control over a woman who has those strengths as a way of demonstrating who you are as a real man. And to pick someone who's not strong in those ways really doesn't give you the opportunity to reveal yourself as a real man. So the taming, manipulating, controlling part was the consequence not only for the woman who is in the equation, but it's also just a terrible way to go about negotiating an open and caring relationship.
So what were you taught about women growing up? What were the messages you received about women, who they are, and what you should expect from them?
Mm-hmm. Well, you think about the teachers. My teachers were very strong women. And I think that one of the things that I learned from them is I know that the primary women in my life, whether it was my mother, my sister-in-law, eventually my sister, they got powerful messages about how important it was to look good. And so I thought women really, if I was going to be associated with a woman, she had to really look right, whatever that is. And she also had to be incredibly feminine and sexy, because they got those messages, and so I felt like that was a part of the equation. And so I got pretty strong messages about objectifying women, and thinking about them in terms of not them as whole people, but the parts of them that were attractive. And so, the consequences for them were very clear. They felt objectified and judged and criticized for how they were or were not living up to those standards.
Can you give an example of how that played out in your life? Or like a direct example of how?
Well, I'm not sure this is a good example, but at one point I was dating a woman who was an editor for Mademoiselle magazine, and she was a very attractive woman who didn't place that much importance on intellectual pursuits. Didn't matter to her that much, and she was fine with whom she was, but I really found ways to criticize her and put her down for what I would characterize as not a very interesting person. So it would be, I would find ways to, really appreciate and reinforce the ways that she looked. Meanwhile, sort of taking her down for not, being interesting and smart enough. Is that enough?
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Part of me feels a little bad for Yolo.
Because?
Well, he's just got a lot of good information to turn into 3 minutes. But were there other messages you received about women?
Well, there were others. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to hold there.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about the bench, though. What were you going to do out there?